to the boatyard. As you can see, I've got the trailer on the back of the car. Now on here, one of the things that I have is a launching dolly on top of my trailer. This thing here. So I'm going to get this off, put it to one side because I don't need it, but if I'm to dunk the trailer, launching and retrieving, this is the thing that I'll use. It's just a shame I couldn't find a way to just winch this straight onto the trailer, because that means I can launch and retrieve my trailer without these bearings ever becoming wet. This is why I don't dunk the trailer. I don't want any water, seawater, to get inside the chassis of the trailer itself or into the wheel bearings and brakes. This has never been dunked, not since I've had it. I believe it had been with the original owner, but I've never dunked this trailer, and I'm not going to start now. So I'm going to get this launching dolly off, get everything down to the slipway, and then take out all the equipment that I use and just walk you through it. I'm going to need as much weight towards the back as I can get. So boom off, mainsail off, the genoa is now to come off, and then I'm going to empty the water tank that's right up in the bow, and also disconnect the battery and bring that into the back. I've taken out the anchor, and I've moved the anchor and the chain into the back. The rudder's ready to go. I can put that on once the tide is up. The engine I'm going to need to get to the slipway. I've moved the battery here. Everything in the front has been moved back, including the water tank is now empty. There's nothing much more I can do with the boat for now. Tide's still out, but it is making, and it won't be long before it comes round that corner. So this is the trailer that I use for my Seawych. This is the original trailer that came with the boat when it was bought back in 1977. It's been garage kept for all of its life until now, hence why it's in such a good nick. There's no plating on it, it's not needed any welding. The only welding I've done was on this winch post. I needed a winch. It's a 3,500 pound winch, and I only use this as a brake for the boat. When the boat is half on the trailer, half off, or when I'm sliding it down, this is the brake. It doesn't really take the load. I've got another thing for that, but I'll show you that in a minute. So I made this plate, and I've just used the U-bolts to hold it on. WD-40, need that, and I always keep handy 2 screwdrivers and a Leatherman tool. So this trailer, I will not dunk it. I will not dunk it in seawater. It's got new bearings in it. When I first took this trailer over, I put new bearings, new tyres on it, because they had the originals. So I replaced them, and I really don't want to rust those out. They cost a lot of money, the bearings from them, special order. The brakes I left as they were because the shoes were plenty lined. These are the runners that the keels sit on. I've got a keel shoe, and basically the bottom of the keels will sit about there when it's on the trailer, tilt up the front, and they're going to slide down. That's what these 2 blocks are for. One this side, one that side. When you tilt up, we use that winch as the brake. So it will come down, the whole trailer will tilt, and we want that to sit on that block, both sides. And then by jiggling it, we can then get the trailer out from underneath the boat, leaving the front of the keels on the concrete. This goes behind the keels. It sits just proud of these runners, so it'll be sitting about here, and that's what these are for, because they'll go up on the stanchions, holding that in place, because obviously it's just going to sit on the ground, so those there to hold it in place. 2 cutouts for the keels. These are only softwood, they don't take a lot of load. This is an overkill. This lump of angle iron is more than what I need. There's no way it's going to bend, but it's all I had. The only other stuff I could find was a lot thinner, so I thought I'll just go for the thick one. And then this will hook through there, and that's going to be the brake. So we've got that bar, we've got these 2 blocks. I've got a lump of a length of 4x2, I think that is. That comes in handy at times, and you'll see why later on. 2 lumps of 4x4 I have, and this is what takes the load. This is what actually pulls the boat up onto the trailer. It's a 4-ton hand puller. That is what takes the load. It clips onto the front winch post, and I use these strops around the middle of that bar. Let's use this one, it'd just be easier. So that will go round, that will go round there, and that is what I use on one end, and this lifting strop goes around there, and that is what the other end of that hand puller will clamp to, and that is what I use to pull the boat onto the trailer. So 2 ratchet straps, that's to hold the boat fore and aft once it's on the trailer. That's what actually ties it down. This one I found out last year when I was towing up the motorway, the boat moved forward on the trailer. I had to pull over in the garage, the back end of the car was right down low. A lorry driver, luckily enough that was in the garage, gave this to me. One end will clip onto that tow eye. It comes up around the front of the keels and then back down to that tow eye, and I pull it in tight. This one's quite handy really, because you've got these 2 bits on it there for the front of the keels. Ratchet down tight, that will stop the boat moving forward. This one stops it moving back. These 2 hold the boat down, and I've got a spare strop there in case I need it. That's all the equipment that I use. Sometimes along the way I have had to find an extra piece of wood to chock under the keels, because you can find the fulcrum beneath the keel. If you put one of them blocks halfway along it, it tilts back and forth really easy. You can do it with one finger if you can get these in the right place, but then you can't get the trailer up on when you do that, because the back end of the boat is down on the concrete, and the fiberglass on concrete is not good. This is the slipway that I'm going to be launching from, retrieving from. It's quite shallow, which helps. Last year I was on a steep slipway. The steeper it is, the harder it is. But this one, the gradient really isn't that bad. It's kind of hard to show you. If I can get that horizon level, that is quite a shallow drop. The shallower the better. So on this slipway it's much easier. The steeper the harder, remember that. Right, boat is on the slipway. The front of the keels are not yet on the concrete. I've positioned those 2 cut off railway sleeper blocks under the back of the keels, which they're now sat on those. Just check one. I shall come round the other side. Oh, look at all that greenery. It don't take long for that to set in, does it? Right, back of the keel, roughly about in line with these windows. Right, so I'm just feeling underneath there with my foot. Back of the keels are on the wooden blocks. The fronts are, the bow is still floating. The front of the keels are not yet on the concrete. 4x4, if I can get it under towards the front. Just have one wheel on, one wheel off. You can either go down in and the railway sleeper size blocks are under the back of the field. And the 2x2 blocks are under the front, near enough. Yeah, they're under the front. Right. Okay. So you can see now the larger block. I'm just going around making a check. We've got the larger block there and that smaller one there, which has left me a gap under there, which is good. Now, because I've put the weight at the back, let me come in. So, still got the engine on the back, the rudder and the anchor and chain there at the back. Because the water tank is empty and the battery is back, that means the boat is now easy to tip up. I can do it on my own, look. So that's good. We're getting there. Looks like we're winning. So far so good. And so far I could have managed this all on my own. It's not been a problem at all. So I brought the trailer down to the front of the boat. I've put this bar into place. This is what that rope's for. Comes up round the bottom of this stanchion, up around the windlass and onto the jammers there. Same with the other side. Up around there, round the windlass, into the jammer. I can adjust that if needed. So I'm going to take off the Seagull, my trusty Seagull, put that to one side, and then I believe we can then get the boat up on its trailer. Right, here we go.